All right, so it's a Defi podcast, episode 6. We're on episode 6. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Before I start, I'd like to say thank you to all of the supporters of the podcast of Defi Collective, and yeah, everyone that's sending all comments, like nice comments and that. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we're just gonna bring more and more content to YouTube. We missed the third
Three
and
and
fourth.
four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties. Yeah,
It's
we're
a
planning
shame, actually.
Yeah. They were funny.
were
But
good ones.
yeah, we're planning to get more content and yeah, just push it forward really. But today we're going to be talking about what we're going to talk about today.
Kits.
We're going to talk about kits, man, because there's a lot of shit going on with kits these days. I don't know, man. I don't know
A
what
lot
it
of
is.
excitement with kits,
Yeah.
I'd say. Yeah, like the rollouts. It's the rollout time for the fixed gear scene, but the Tour de France teams and like the World Tour teams have dropped their kits. There's some nice ones out there, like
There's a lot
very
of stick with
Yeah.
one team in particular, but I feel it's a bit silly.
The EF kit.
Yeah. But let's go back to last year and the kits that we did like actually. So
Yeah.
let's say do you want to talk about the fixed gear kits first or the tour?
I didn't really follow the tour last year. I never really followed the tour.
I didn't really follow fixed gear ones, so we can probably balance
Oh,
it.
nice. Yeah. I was somewhere in the middle. I watched Tour de France.
Yeah.
And then I watched what I could of the fixed gear kits that I did. So yeah. So we got a good medium here. So Chris, because the tour ones are like the main ones.
Yeah.
Like which ones were your
Last year, I don't know, the one I didn't like, the Sky one was like awful, like with a big killer whale on the back of it. I'm just like, no, sorry guys.
you didn't like the support of the Earth?
It's daft, man. It looks stupid.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what that looks like.
They literally, so you see them from on the top, there's a big killer whale on the back.
On the back, yeah.
And I get the charity thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I like the chariot
Don't get me wrong,
aspect,
I
yeah.
fully do, but it's the same as the Dimension Data kit this year, but it's got like the kid's hand on the back of it.
Oh, really?
Just looks mad creepy. So every single
I didn't know this.
so it's like it's for is it Quebeca? So it's like the charity that's like supporting. I think it's like giving bikes to kids in African nations.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
down with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like legit good cause.
Yeah, of course.
Don't put like a weird black kid's hand on like arm and hand on the back of your kit. It just looks mental.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
yeah,
but-
You need,
I need
we'll,
to see that.
we'll show it off afterwards. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it'll be somewhere.
it just looks weird. So I'm not even sure. God, I can barely remember the kits from last year.
I actually liked the red and blue. Is it Bahrain Merida?
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean-
the block colours of it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's just like
They
sleeve.
had the same this year, no?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
sleeve,
pretty similar this year.
mid
Yeah.
shorts, and it just looks. It's
It
just
looks
like
neat.
a clean
Yeah.
standard, kit for me. That was like a nice standout. But that's just like a basic kit that I kind of liked. But
Yeah. I mean, I quite like Sunwebs as well. I quite like that black and white thing that's going on, but they've got rid of that.
it was
for
it like
this
the
year.
referee stripe one.
Yeah, I quite
Yeah.
like that though. That was nice.
Blocker.
This year, like I know you were saying, Marlon. I think you're right. The Sky
that?
kit this year is quite,
Yeah,
it's
the
quite
Sky
good
kit,
actually. Like,
yeah.
and it's hard to make a black blue fade
yeah,
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like that one's my best one for this year.
For this year, this
Yeah.
year's rollout.
Yeah.
Considering that only this year I really paid attention to it, only because of all that
The
stuff's
other
been going
fiasco.
on. Yeah.
People
So
got-
I mean, I
yeah.
do like this year. There's a lot of kits that are the same. The color red is everywhere this year,
Yeah.
and it's like probably my least favorite color. Like I don't know, maybe it just doesn't suit me, but I just don't like red at all. There's quite a lot of teams this year that have got really similar
CCC?
kits. So I was actually thinking, in saying all of that, I think CCC's kit might be my favorite, just because it's more like orange and it's
Yeah,
more
it's
just
like
like,
an
a big
in-between.
bang, like
Yeah.
bold color, whereas. Like Lotto have got their red kit, and Sunweb have got the red kit, and Trek have got their red kit, and I think in the peloton you'll be like,
Who's who?
Who's who?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's not been a particularly inspiring year for kits, to be honest. Like the
Yeah.
Kitty
Well, as of
Shelves
yeah,
and
it's only
ones the
just
same as
gone.
always.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, but then like the tie dye elephant in the room of the EF Education First Rafa
Oh,
kit.
actually, yeah, this triple C kit is really nice.
Yeah, see,
God damn, that's nice.
see.
Yeah. It's basic though. It's just like
It's basic, but
but
it's
it's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
nice.
it stands out. Like that's a good color of orange.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
pop orange. I don't know. Yeah, he's got it up now. So I mean, who else is awful? So AG2Rs is I mean brown bib shorts.
It's
fuck
always-
no.
awful, isn't it? It looks terrible. Yeah.
Brown bib shorts, man. No,
We couldn't pull that off.
Confidence is terrible as always.
Matching, boy.
Bahrain Merida looks pretty classy, but
It's the same. It was pretty much the same.
It's pretty
yeah,
much
it's the
same,
same.
isn't it?
And you
Let's-
know, I
let's
find
do
it quite
this.
hard to back a nation with such a bad human rights history. Although you know that goes for quite a number of the teams in the
Yeah.
the pro peloton. Bora's kit like flies under the radar for some reason. I really like the kind of like chevron things. It's not that one. There's like a new one. Sorry everyone, this is super boring. Well, we just like Google all the stuff. We didn't Google all the shit we didn't research before.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I quite like that.
Pretty nice.
That's quite
Yeah.
smart.
It's not the fade, but
No,
it's
that's-
like
No,
not for you. I think it's alright.
Yeah, I quite like the Bora kit,
Yeah.
and
It's
I like
a
what they've
tin
done in
of
the
paint
bikes.
Like you see in B&Q. You see that Dulux paint.
Actually, now you say that, I'm
Isn't
probably,
that flooring though? It's flooring,
I'm
isn't
probably
it?
not going to be able to unsee that.
Yeah.
Like
that's-
Bora's flooring, no? Is it? No. what team is the flooring?
No, so
Quick Step,
Quick
sorry.
Step.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Quick Steps is the floor, and it's Jacunic.
Jacunic. They changed their name to that, no?
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, I liked their kit last year, and this year it's like, oh, it's just the same kit, and I'm don't like
not-
it as much for some
no?
reason. Yeah, the CCC kit for me is the nicest one. I think I've only really seen it as the skin suit as well, and maybe
Yeah.
it's just because it looks really good as a skin
Yeah, as
suit.
a one piece. Yeah, so you don't know what it's gonna look like as a. a bib short
Trek's
jersey.
women's kit looks really good as well, much better than Trek men's one.
Oh,
It's
I've
like
not seen that.
it's like blue or like kind of turquoise instead of the red.
Have a peep.
But yeah, I don't know, like, but this is the problem with like World Tour kits is that they get a bit like swamped by logos for sponsors and stuff, and they can't like bring them into it like naturally. So it's just like these weird big like logos banged all over it, much like a lot of fixed gear kits, unfortunately.
Yeah, which is the scene now. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your guys' favourite kit last year?
For Fitzgerald.
Fitzgear, yeah.
I actually quite like the Intelligentsia kit from
I like their bike. Their bike was amazing.
Colin Strickland's team. That was really flashy actually. I like the little logos they had on the shoulder and stuff. That was pretty cool. I did like North London Thundercats one as well. It's a bit similar to the Bahrain Merida.
Man,
style.
do you know what? I was going to say that as
Yeah.
well. It reminds me of the
yeah.
Bahrain Merida
Yeah.
kit, but it looks really good.
It
It's
looks
a really
really good.
like choice of colours together.
Yeah, and it fits in with their ethos. You know, a bit rocky.
Is that the one with the one on the side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I quite
I
like
like
that
that.
kit last year.
Yeah.
Concept Cycling, the
Justin Williams.
Justin Williams boys' team. I like the standard black and white, big one logo down the back.
Down the back,
Yeah.
yeah.
In the middle.
Brandon's good though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
It's a
that's
shame
what it's
that
about.
it doesn't exist anymore. I
Well,
don't
no,
know.
it does. It still exists. They've got like it's like a project that they're working on. So I'm sure they're going to tell us about it in
They
coming
should have
weeks.
kept that, man. That team.
No, I think it still does
Yeah,
exist, but they now have like a forefront team which is going to be supported by, I guess, by Rafa in America or something. 'Cause
Oh, really?
yeah,
they
they're
race,
not announced their sponsors yet.
Yeah.
so
But
it's
they
pretty
race-
obvious. Like
they race in
specialised.
Rafa kits, the last two races.
Yeah.
So probably
Well,
working
they're
hard with them.
custom kit.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
another-
Raf are rolling out custom soon anyway. Like quite
Oh,
a
is that
few-
what they're
quite a
doing
few
now?
teams have got
Yeah.
it already.
So is this the shake-up they've been talking about?
I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess so.
Fast Amsterdam had a kit with Rafa.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kit was nice.
Yeah.
I like the colours that they have in
So
their
we're going to talk about the Rafa EF kit. Are we?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I'd like to
I'm-
say my best kit from last year was Specialized. A lot of people didn't like it. I
Alex
really
kit,
liked it.
yeah.
Yeah, that kit, man. They had just everything just spot on. It was very simple.
Rocket Espresso one.
Yeah.
I like the kit. I didn't like the bike.
Oh, I'm the other way around.
Oh, really?
Really?
I preferred the bike.
I did like the kit, man. It was very
which
simple.
bike
like-
is it? Is it the
The colourful one.
with all the
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really
But
like
I don't
that
like
frame. I like that idea.
I don't like colours on wheels.
The wheels was a bit much, yeah.
Okay, yeah, the wheels
Yeah,
weren't for
yeah.
me, but the frame paint and
Yeah.
stuff, I really like that they did that. That was brave. And then when you actually see the finer detail, how it actually worked, that was brilliant. So
I liked
for me,
it when
that
it was obviously more zoomed in. So when it was on the kit, how the colours were all broken up, and I really liked it. I had
preferred
the
that.
R on the side and stuff. Yeah, it was really nice. But
it reminded me of the Volkswagen Golf cars. You know when they used to do multicolour
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
polo or
polos
something.
and stuff.
Yeah,
That's what it reminded me
God,
of.
yeah.
wow.
Actually,
Yeah, so like tie-dye EF education Rafa kit. What do you think? I'm a fan. I like it.
So I think it's okay. That's it. I think it's okay. I'm not a fan of the way they marketed it. So it was the whole thing of, we're going to shake up the industry, we're going to bring something different. And
I don't think that's the team saying that. I don't think Rafa was saying that. I think the people around Rafa were saying that.
So, all right, that being the case, I still don't think they've done anything to say, oh, we've shaken up the industry, we've made a bang.
Well, that's meant to be about all the different races and stuff they're going to. So I heard, who were they interviewing? They were interviewing Mike Woods the other day on, I think, Cycling News or something, and he said that, I'm sure it was Mike Woods who said he wanted to go and do Leadville this year. Now that's cool, because Mike Woods is is like a really strong like power climber, and he wants to go and do a mountain bike race. And to be honest, what I thought when Rafa announced this was that it's just a gimmick, that none of your top pros will want to go and do it,
and that's what
and
I
all
thought,
the kind of like domestiques and like the young guys, they'll be like, sorry pal, you're doing you're doing Dirty Kanza, the 350 mile edition this year, so don't worry about the Tour de France, you know. So I thought they would just be chucking all their guys into that, but fair play. Woods, if Mike Woods is going to do Leadville, I want to see that.
You want to see it? Okay, fair. What about like, you know, the shake up though, like on a whole? Because there isn't anything yet that's suggested to me that it's going to be like the boom.
Thanks, Marlon.
Do you know what I mean?
So yeah, I mean, I guess it's taking us off kits a wee bit, but you're right. It's kind of like it's all kind of like the same thing. If there's going to be a shake up in cycling, it's not going to come from the fucking pro peloton and Rafa. It's not going to come from the
mainstream.
Like the biggest, biggest expensive. Like
these guys sponsored Sky at one point.
Like,
they're on another level, man.
Different level.
Yeah, and like I know EF they're not like a big team or anything like that, and you know they've got a few opportunities this year, but. Yeah, it's not going to... It almost seems to me, instead of them going, we're going to shake up cycling, they've realised that cycling is shaking itself up from like the ground up, where, you know, a lot of people around here are getting into cyclocross. Like, a lot of people are really getting into cross. Gravel biking, I mean, I like my bike on gravel sometimes. There's not really much opportunity around London, not really. Sweden was great for gravel. A lot of, like America, gravel seems to be huge. But it's like, that scene is already exploding. It doesn't need Rafa and EF to explode it. It's done. They're just jumping on the bandwagon. And I kind of get... Like I kind of believe Simon Mottram from Rafa when he says he wants to help it develop and stuff. No, he sends me emails all the time. Me and every other Rafa subscriber. So I kind of believe him, and like, I think he genuinely wants to do stuff for the sport. Do I believe like Jonathan Waters, who like runs EF Education First, wants to like support the sport? Not really, to be honest. I think, and you know, maybe he should just focus on making his team a bit better.
It was the bucket hats.
Oh, the bucket hats are awful.
I'm like
I grew up in the 90s. Bucket hats are terrible.
Yeah.
Always.
I love a bucket hat.
Okay. So I'm going to get you one next podcast.
Not the Rafa one. Just give me like a standard black Kango.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, definitely jumping on something.
Yeah, and like scarves and stuff like that. And like cycling doesn't work like that. You're not going to have like people who are like, I'm an EF supporter, because next year they'll have a different name and a different sponsor.
So do you think it's a hype beast bandwagon that they've tried to create then?
Yeah,
that's the shake up that they were going for.
So I like the kit. I think it looks cool. Yeah. I like the t-shirts they did with it. I like how they're like almost tie dye as well.
The long sleeve ones that they had a picture of with the bucket hat.
I'm not sure, but it's like pink and blue as well. Basically.
Yeah, I think it's the long sleeve one.
So that looks really cool. I think it's a good move for cycling kits to branch out a bit, because as we all just talked about, there's like 4 this year that are all red and pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So I'm all over like Rafa doing different stuff, and I love the crit suit they did as well. The one from last year that was like the kind of oil slick one that they did.
Oh, I don't. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of Duke was modelling it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like
kind of turquoise, blue, purpley.
It's kind of similar in a way to this one.
Really nice.
So I think that Rafa have got some interesting design ideas like that, and all for more of that, because a lot of cycling kits are really boring. But I don't really believe that they want to shake up the industry. I think they see the industry as being shaken up, and they want to get a piece of the action.
Yeah.
Boom.
Mike.
Simon, come back at me.
Yeah. Oh, damn, boy.
Wow.
Oh.
Not me. I'm not involved.
Fair play. I mean, that's a pretty good roundup on that one. Yeah, I don't have much to add to that.
But were you saying that there was like a few people feel that Rafa have stolen the design, or Rafa have like?
Well, no, I feel like they think Rafa is trying to claim the design. I think that's what it is, and a lot of people have done it from before.
The fade.
So I feel like they may feel that Rafa's kind of jumping on something that's already been done.
Yeah.
I don't really feel. Like
Yeah, I mean, we saw
them.
we saw it on the gram, like people throwing up in their stories. Oh, fade kit 2016, fade kit 2014.
Mate, like there was fade kits like in the 60s, I'm sure. You know, like.
Well, I don't know if they how in that wool stuff. I don't know if that would be some.
No, it was very
solid
bloody.
knitted, mate. Dip dye, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But you know, like it was always going to happen. They were never going to be the first. Like they were just going to reintroduce it. Yeah. And I think everyone's taken offense to the reintroduction of the fade kit, and then them trying to.
I don't see any other brand doing it besides
claim.
Rafa as well. Such a brand like Rafa, I feel like they're the brand to kind of do it.
Yeah.
I feel. I don't see any other brand trying to do that.
And it's not just a straight fade as well. It's quite a complex design, really. I think they are trying to make it more like tie-dye as well.
Yeah, no, it is a tie-dye kit.
Yeah. Whereas, like, you know, a fade is not groundbreaking. Just because 2 years ago, I don't know who it was, by the way, because I'm.
There was loads of them.
As will become a running theme on this podcast, I'm not on Instagram anymore, so I don't know what's going on in the world, because that's how the world works.
You just do it all by email.
Yeah. So I don't know who it is that's kind of shouting out about it, but like, just because you did a fade kit 2 years ago doesn't mean that you invented the fade and you've got some sort of copyright. Let me tell you now, Rafa did not look at your kit and go, "Yeah, we're having some of that." Don't think that like people care that much about your kit. Sorry.
Damn boy.
So yeah, sorry. I'm more opinionated about that than I thought I was.
No, but it's good because I feel like a lot of people have the opinion and tread on ice with it. I threw up a post the other day. I was just like, everywhere I look, and it was like a pink blue fade picture of my grandma. I was just done it as a joke, and I was just like, but it's true. Everywhere I do look is this pink blue fade now, because it's all over the place. All right. So what would you like to see on kits in the future? What is like the thing that would
Like what would your
ideal
kit would be? I mean, not considering ours from last year, but like, what is yours? Like, what would you want your kit to be?
Because like we've had good designs over the years, I think personally. With
I think very basic, but
yeah,
subtle
details that stand out. You know, like with the stripes on the sleeve thing.
The repeating, I still think the repeating lightning bolt that you did, like that's still one of my favourite design bits. The road suit, like I think it's I still think our road suit is one of the best kits I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the first time actually I decided that I'd wear something loud, because I've never been like
that's the thing,
like a person who would wear something that was bright and loud. With regard to cycling, like in my everyday clothing, like I'll wear whatever.
Black. Dark colours, yeah.
So yeah, but what would you like to see someone else do and say, "Oh, that's good. That's something that's like yes."
I'm not gonna lie, that Rafa the
oil one. You'd like to see that more
really
oil
nice,
slick design.
It was nice.
That was so nice. But I'm more into dark colours, man. Like, if I could have a kit, it would just be all black.
Rafa will sort you out there as well.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just man. Like, kit is nice to look at the same time. I think it's more for obviously like Tour de France and all that stuff. I think it's more just based on the sponsors like having their stuff on the kit.
Yeah,
I don't think it's down to design. I think it's more on logo placement, and then the design's built around that.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
and then with fixed gear racing, I feel like it's more.
It's input from the team.
Yeah,
so
input from the team. I think from the design input out. Yeah. And then you think about the design first, and then the logos.
And then how does it
after.
fit onto the kit?
Yeah.
I feel like and the fixed gear kits do seem to represent who the team are a bit more. Yeah. Like if I think about any pro cycling team, like the kit does not reflect the ethos of the team.
No.
Ever, really.
Except for the hand on the back.
Yeah. Which is just
and the well on the shot, maybe.
But like Like we were talking about,
But again, that's all
Thundercats
logo.
kit.
That's all logo placement.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. But
Who were the guys? Was it the guys from Amsterdam? Was it the Royale kit?
Yeah.
A few years ago, that had the kind of blue and white
wave,
the blue and white wave.
do you know what?
That was nice.
Yeah,
that was nice.
When they came out with that kit, I was like, that is a nice
That's
kit.
really nice.
that was a
actually,
nice
yeah.
kit.
It started from like, and then it rippled at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see more designs with actual less branding, because then it will show more input from the creator's point.
Yeah.
So like, you as a designer, you create your kit, ideas in your mind, pen and paper, however you do it nowadays, iPad, whatever, and then it gets put on your design how it is without big sponsors like slapped all over it, because then it gives the team more of an identity. So like sometimes people, like the best example is a football team. People support football teams not only because of the area they grew up in or whatever, but sometimes it's just the logo. Like someone likes the cannon, someone likes the Patriots. This is NFL now. Like the Patriots helmet logo design or whatever it is. Sometimes it's just the logo that attracts them more than it is the actual team. So it shows that they probably have like an affiliation with the creators' ideas, and they go, I like what that person done. I like that person's ideas.
Yeah.
So then you go, do you know what? I'm going to support that team this year because, and this is now going back to cycling, because I like what they've done with their kit. Oh, I like what they've done with this because they're showing that they have more personality.
More layers.
Identity that you can get behind.
Otherwise, you're just looking at, again, just branding slapped everywhere and going,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that God and Famous kit. The
Idiocracy
Idiocracy one.
one.
I love that kit because
Yeah.
it was just mocking how much branding like matters. It's like Pepsi, Cola, this, and you're just going, that was
Fair,
that was every kit every year.
Yeah.
It might as well be NASCAR racing. So, do you know what I mean? I'd like to see more originality from that point of view. And then if the branding gets involved, it should be subtle. It should be like, you look at it and you go, I didn't realize you had this on the kit. Yeah. And then it's more of
I do like the collabs as well. The collabs are really like the Romance and is it Spanish artist.
The Pantone one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like what they do as well, like all the collabs and stuff.
Yeah, if you get a good designer in to collaborate, then it's a nice way to take it in a different direction, I guess.
But as well, as what Banton was saying about obviously having a what's what you were saying? Just have a thing about your team, like have a what's the word I'm looking for?
Identity.
Identity.
Yeah, sorry. I was looking for the word myself. I was like, what did I say?
Yeah, I feel like having that in a team and having that spread across your kit and your whole team in general. Yeah, I feel like
it just gives it a little bit more. Is that why you're wearing this color? Or is that why you're doing this? Is that why? Because then otherwise you're just again looking at like big branding.
Which is the reason why our kits have pretty much just been black, white, and grey, because we're just pretty much like that's all we wear. I'm not going to make it like a pink kit.
I mean, look at us today, like this is.
Then we brought the twins in, and like they started wearing colour, and everyone was just like, easy guys.
What is this beige?
For real.
Oh man.
But I feel like, I feel like our kit was. I think the last kit we had was really good, man. I mean, the brightest kit I've had.
Yeah.
But I feel like standing out a bit, even though it's still the black, grey, and white. But yeah, man.
What do you expect for the rollout this year then? Because I like the artwork that's coming out of those two boys from Bristol.
Clash Racing.
Yeah. So they're doing like this combination design with an artist from Bristol, and it looks really loud, I must say. But I like that they're taking a risk because I've only seen like the little square pictures that they've slapped up on the gram, and I'm like, I like
really
that.
nice.
It looks pretty brave. This could be good. And it kind of goes in with the whole loud Clash, I guess.
Are they a race team?
They're race two boys. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Sam, I've met Sam a few times at a few races. He's sound.
Shout out Sam.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And like they're going for it. They're taking a brave shot. And I'd like to see more of that because at the moment everyone's pretty safe. I'd say.
Yeah. I'm not going to speak on all the kits, but yeah, I agree. I feel there's a lot of stuff that that's been done that's really nice. That we're waiting for. I don't know when everyone else is going to release obviously the rollout of all their kits.
I don't know. It
I think
depends
it's
how
much slower
organised
this
they
year.
are.
Yeah, it's much slower this year. I think like last year, not even last year, like 2017, I was actually looking forward. Oh, what's they going to look like? Oh, it's going to be a surprise. Oh, this date's going to come out, and it was actually fun back then.
Fifth Floor's got one coming out soon as well. I think they're doing a yellow to lime fade.
I mean, they're smart
With
because they again they've got their colour scheme and they've got a really good identity.
Yeah.
In fact, and I know maybe I'm just like putting two and two together because they've got the kind of whole football thing going on as well with Adidas.
Yeah.
But coming back to you talking about like sports teams having identities, they've got a really good identity.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, you know, and then you at least know where the designer fits into all of that. So I'm sure it's Rudy Mello who does the kit design. I mean, maybe 80% sure on that. But you know, when he's doing his design, it's going to look like this because it's him doing it and it fits in with what the team kind of like has. And then with it being Adidas, then the football theme fits in perfectly.
You seen Adidas shoes?
No, I've not seen them.
You've not seen them?
No, not paid attention.
Yeah, they're kind of like vintage looking. Like they're really nice. I don't know if they probably have to have a carbon sole.
Yeah.
But yeah, they look really nice.
Yeah, they kind of look like football shoes.
Yeah.
Football boots, don't
Yeah.
they? Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That's pretty good.
But that's again,
that's what I'm saying.
Good,
Like,
good
sounds
identity. There's another. I think they're a team as well. I think they're London based, but they're called Mono. I've seen them at a few fixed gear races, and I've seen them at like Regent's Park some mornings as well. They've got a really nice kit. You should check out. It's like they've got a really good kind of like white and gold and black color scheme going on.
Mono.
But yeah, they did they showed their kind of like mood board thing of like all the different like designs and just looking at that and then looking at the kit, I was like, fair, you really know your design. So their stuff's really nice. I always like that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I for some reason I either prefer quite wild kits or quite really basic ones.
Nothing in the middle.
Yeah. No. Like minimal sponsor stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the less sponsor stuff, the better. Oh, the buzzer's going. Something going.
As you may see, we have a guest with us now.
Oh, there is a camera.
Yeah.
How did I get here?
Yeah. It's Matt, aka Ricola. Is that pronounced right?
_63. 63.
Yeah. Underscore 63. Yeah.
63.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah. Welcome, man. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, we're going to talk about a lot. Should I say? We're going to talk about a few things today. But yeah, before we start that, tell us a bit.
Yeah, quick intro.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, man.
Well, I'm English, really. I was born in England, but I grew up in Tasmania from about the age of 4 till I was 18, and then I moved back to England originally to play cricket. I used to play cricket.
Slip.
No, I was wicketkeeper.
Oh, nice. Good reflex.
But if you think about it, like the wicketkeeper is generally the position where people talk a lot and sledge.
Yeah, the gap.
So I was kind of custom made for it. But yeah, I played cricket, and then I decided I wanted to stay here, and then I ended up doing sports science, coming to London. So I'm a personal trainer by trade, and I did that for about 12 or so years. And then about 7 years ago, I went through a bit of a change in my life, shall we say, and I got out of the personal training game and started couriering. Okay. But I started cycling probably quite seriously in about 2009, like training-wise. Mm-hmm. And then about 7 years started couriering, and then started...
This is why you was back over here? Or when you was back?
Yeah, well, not because of cycling. Originally, it was for cricket, just to be here for 6 months, and because I had a potential cricket career in Australia.
Okay.
But I retired because I'd kind of burnt out, and I was 18, and women come on the scene and going out and all of that. So I it's not unusual, is it?
Yeah,
a lot of people at my age kind of go one way or the other. So and the cycling thing has kind of been an accidental thing. But I'm a bit older and I've had life experiences, and I think that's kind of why I'm sort of more grounded about the whole thing, and I don't take myself or cycling too seriously.
Yeah.
and why our team is trying to do something, you know, with communities and things. But yeah, that's kind of loosely.
So explain the community side of it, because like it's actually a really good project that you've got going on. Like last week we had Black Cyclists on, and he talked about how he wants to make it more appealing for everyone to participate. So how are you going about it within your community? Yeah,
so when Jermaine and I started the team a couple of years ago, the whole thing for us was, we spoke about it. Jermaine had just quit British cycling at that time, which was quite a shock for a lot of people.
Sorry to cut you. This is One Life.
Yeah, One Life Cycle. Yeah. I was racing with another team, and Jermaine came along to support me in London, and things weren't working out with me and that team. And I just said to him, "Listen, man, like, am I allowed to swear?"
Yeah, of course.
I was like, "Fuck this team, like." I can't. I don't want to be doing this anymore. It's not making me happy.
Yeah.
Let's do something together next year. And he was up for it. But we looked around, and it was at the Red Hook. I think from memory you did very well.
Surprisingly well, yeah.
Well, no, it was great. I loved that.
That was very,
actually that was the year before, I think. Anyway, we just looked around at the Red Hook, and the sort of the vibe of the kind of the posing and all of that. I get it, you know, but like I said, look, let's try and create something, a team that's community based, and we can sort of look at inspiring kids to get into it. And that was the sort of loose idea. And then the last couple of years, we've basically built really strong relationships with youth centres. I've got to know all like the wheelie kids and that scene. And we've put a lot of time in for nothing, you know, just our own time on different events. And we've had a plan of where we've wanted to take it, and it's now sort of coming into fruition in that we've met the right people, and we're just sort of in the process now of putting together essentially like an events company where we will do certain events. And it's all about going in sort of to this the communities where the kids might not have a bike or the opportunity.
Or they have the bike and don't know what to do.
Yeah, or they don't know what to do with it. But I mean, basically cycling or any sport gives you focus, discipline, gives you a community, friendship, all these sorts of things, which keeps you away from drugs, crime, et cetera, et cetera. And that's kind of how it's coming about. And the race team is like the example of what the kids can achieve if that's what they want, you know, with the discipline. So that's kind of it loosely.
That's good, man. So quickly, what are your plans for the year as you go with the team? Yeah, with regards to the team races.
Yeah, so this year we have a new addition.
You don't have to announce it.
You don't have to announce if you don't want to.
No, it's all called Sam Harding, who you guys might know, who's a very...
Yeah, follow him on Gram.
Yeah, really nice, good... I mean, ultimately, for me, it's like... And for Jermaine, it's about being... You guys know, like, with your team and your people...
Just the relationship.
You need, it needs to be tight and real and all of that for things to go forwards. And Sam's a really good guy. We really like him, and he's someone that will bury himself.
Yeah.
For the good of the team, and that's the sort of rider we need. We got George and James, who raced last year, who are both very, very talented. George is our captain for this year. I'm racing again, but just set races. I can't, like, currently doing the bike messaging and everything else at this point in time. It's too much, physically.
Too much TSS.
Yeah, so I'm just going to do certain races. And then we've got two other boys, a guy called Daniel Bennett, who's a bike messenger, and another guy called Graham, whose surname... Sorry, Graham, I forgot your surname. From Canada, who both of those guys are sort of what you could say, like, in sort of... where they're kind of not the A team, if you know what I mean. They're guys that we want to give an opportunity to prove themselves.
That's good.
and stuff. But race-wise, we're down for Fix 42, definitely.
Nice.
All the
That's
UK.
like one of our favourites.
Yeah, well, I haven't done it before, so I'm looking forward to that.
That's great.
All of the UK races, I'm doing Monster Truck at the end of this month, and also the Last Man Standing in Berlin.
Cool.
It's my shout out to Berlin.
Rises or drops?
Always drops.
Yeah.
And then, as far as Red Hook, we don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
I'd love us to do Mission Crit, but it's all
Ooh,
money.
yeah.
I mean, this
Financially,
is where we're at right now. We're reaching out to people for money, and that will depend on how many overseas races we do.
So just thinking about money. So we were just before you come in, we were talking about
Good
kits.
segue.
We're talking about kit. I know I was waiting for it. We're talking about kits, and really quickly, in the design of kits, and really quickly it turned into talking about sponsors, because most kits are ruined because there's sponsor logos all over them.
Yeah.
So and then we've just been quite a lot of our conversations about our team in general. You know, it's not like sponsors are knocking down the door, but we do get people like messaging us and emailing us and saying, "Oh, can we give you this? Do you want to wear this?" And it, like, honestly, most of it, and I think we've said this before, like, doesn't add any value to the team at all. Like I don't need that stuff. And we've always said, if there's one thing that a sponsor could really do that to help it, is pay for some shit.
Give us some fucking
give us some money so we can go and do
I don't want to.
it.
Yeah, exactly. It's show us the money. You know,
At
that's
this
it.
point, do you really think, like, us in the London scene, like, do we think we care too much about sponsors at this point?
So for us, like,
Yeah.
I don't think, like we've said this year, I don't think we want any sponsors this year. I mean, so Brother have sorted this out in the past.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We don't need anything off them this year, and that's cool. Stayer Cycles have always been really good to us as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Kenny don't really need anything off them at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Like, I've got stuff to cycle. I've been cycling for a few years now. I think most of us do. So if a brand wanted to approach us, and it must be the same for you, where they go, we want to get some visibility of this brand, the conversation has to turn to, that's fine.
Can you help us get to the races?
Yeah, because you're not going to get any visibility because I can't afford to go to all these races.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
And the British cycling scene doesn't allow for the appeal because you can't record the races.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can take your pictures on the sidelines, but you can't record the races to do even more promo to show how
And
exciting the
also,
race
it's
is as
mad
well.
expensive if you want to be registered with British Cycling and then
have
have
a
your
sponsor.
sponsors.
Oh,
So it's just that this it's
£75 per logo.
So it's always output for you.
Is that how much it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So bring that back. Bring that back to you then. So as you were saying there, it's the conversation about actual money now rather than product.
Yeah, I mean that's where we're at as a team. I mean, I've personally paid out for the past 3 seasons, and I'm not willing to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Fair.
Not because like I feel that I deserved. It's like I think it's really cool how you were talking about it, because it's saying that you don't need these things off people. Because I think in the past, you know, maybe still now for some people, and it's something that Jermaine and I've really, sat our guys down the beginning of this or end of last year and said, look, at this point in time, we don't actually have an equipment sponsor apart from bikes made by Kingdom. Shout out, thank you very much. But as far as like wheels and all of that, we don't have it. And we've said to our guys, if you have to pay for the wheels, that's it. And I think in the past there was a bit of a thing of what can we get, and it's like all about what we're getting, without necessarily putting in.
But wasn't that the way the scene was going? Because we all thought that was the reason why you'd be at the top end.
Yeah.
So the reason was like, the reason why you're in Group 1, Group 2 is because you have all the branding on your kit, or you have all the branding behind you. So
It wasn't.
your support
I don't think
was
it was
huge.
that. It was just.
No, but that's what that's what I thought. I was like looking
okay.
around,
Yeah.
going, "These
Yeah.
guys have all got the same stuff.
Yeah.
They look official. They're gonna get put in the in the right
I
spotlight."
actually thought that as well.
So, do you think now that people have come to realize that that's not what it is that's now why no one gives a damn about like the sponsorship? Is that why it's going that way?
I think people just from their experiences have realised that there's not a lot of money out there. There's not a lot of people interested in sponsor. You know, you've really got
Real sponsorship.
Yeah, you've got to really have your shit together to be able to have people interested. And it's like there has to be a value, whether that be in success, that you can give them success, like winning, or like from a marketing PR perspective, you know. And there's certain people who've been really clever and have got sponsorship and help, and are basically not necessarily getting the results, but they're, you know,
they know how to
they've got
navigate
that visibility on Instagram and all of this sort of stuff. I mean, it's a very kind of, it's really, the landscape of this is evolving and has really changed the last few years. But I think what's happened is everyone's realizing now that there's not a lot of money out there.
Yeah.
You know, and there's not, like, the scene in England, is there a scene?
I'd say it still exists to
It still
an
exists
extent.
to an extent, yeah. I feel like a lot of people are just getting their heads around the sponsors before they're like, even like teams that are coming up these days. I feel like some of the teams may feel they need.
Yeah, the sponsor comes first.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need, no, you don't. You just need a good collection of people. And we just want to ride our bikes and race.
That's it, yeah.
You know, and we're lucky that that there is races around Europe and the world that anyone can enter, and that's what makes this sport so unique. But I think, it's just, we're in a transitional period. I think would be for the UK scene especially. We're in a period where a transitional period.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, do you think British cycling could do better to make it more appealing to the younger generation?
Get out of its own arse for a start, because it's just British cycling, like.
You have to be honest. Like, that's it.
I'm going to ruffle so many feathers today, I think. So British cycling, like, these things are big institutions. You know, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of people involved, and their attitude is going to be, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
But it is broke.
It is broke.
I know.
But they don't have much innovation that's coming in.
Well, they don't really understand. I've spoken to a couple of people. I'm not going to mention this person's name, but this person has came second in the Paris-Roubaix. So you can probably work that out. But I had
a British person.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just narrowed it down a bit.
So this person and I had quite a heated debate about not having brakes on fixed gears, and this person wasn't willing to. He had his, I don't know.
You can't fathom it really. Like, he doesn't
Did he just
understand
have
it.
his pro hat on?
Well, yeah, maybe, but the thing, the issue with the fixed gear, we're kind of at a point where it's like it's like, does the fixed gear scene get involved with British cycling? Is there something get set up? Because, like, I know the people that could make it happen, like, you know, amongst us, we could make it happen. You know?
For sure.
But I don't know. Like, I mean, I just, like most institutions and sporting institutions and federations and things, it generally is a bit backward. And the fixie racing is coming from a completely different angle. But that's what makes it so refreshing. So British cycling, I really don't know. I think it will take an immense amount of energy and time from some people in our communities to kind of make it happen. And I don't know if anyone's got that time.
Well, I think the work that you're doing at the moment and the stuff you talked about earlier on about bringing kids into it, who, and again, like Barrington, to your point, who've probably got a bike, but don't see that as like something you can actually use to like further your life and to fulfill your life.
Here's a really good example of it. Red Hook 3 was the year that the Wheelie Boys went around. Is it Bikes Up, Knives Down? I think it's
Knives Down, Bikes Up. That was me that organised that.
All right, so you organised that. Brilliant. Yeah. So they've come along and, you know, they've been given the opportunity to show their skill.
Yeah.
From what I've seen on some of their Instagrams, they've got now a huge following and some sponsorship, which is brilliant. Yeah. So they've now...
Jake 100's the best example.
All right.
So he's a full-time Nike athlete now.
Wow. Oh, is he the guy who just done the recent video with Terry?
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right. So that's a good example of someone who's been given the opportunity of, here's my bike. This is what I can do with my bike. And then someone's come along and go, we like what you're doing. And they've taken him out. Now, granted, not everyone's going to get that opportunity, but at least it's
At least
there.
you know it's
what
there,
we do
yeah.
now see is when things like that happen, there are still idiots out there who comment on the videos or on the thing and go, "Oh, I bet still secretly he's doing this. I bet like shut up, like behave
keyboard
yourself."
warriors, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? So when you talk about it, like going, "Oh yeah, what do you do with the bike?" Show them, show them, and like British cycling doesn't show it. They don't say to you, "Oh, you ride a mountain bike. Come down to the mountain bike track."
British cycling to me seemed to be almost there to go, let's just put some barriers up, guys, because we want everything to be like regulated. So I just went to British Cycling's website. I'm a British Cycling member, by the way, only because I want to race my bike, and I have to have a license.
Well, I'm joining this year as well because I haven't had a license, but
we can talk about that as well, about how difficult it is to actually figure the fuck out how to get a license and race and what you need. So their mission, quote from the website: "Our mission in life is to deliver international sporting success. Okay, grow and effectively govern cycle sport." I mean, thanks guys, great. I'm glad that your mission in life is to effectively govern something, and inspire and support people to cycle regularly. Cool. Okay, inspire and support people to cycle regularly. If you bring any kid who's not probably comes from their family, have got a cycling history already, and put them on that British Cycling website, which is the only place anyone's ever going to go to get information, it's a terrible website. It's very, very difficult to use. It's not friendly at all. And so I like doing road races. I'm not as into crits anymore. Road races are not cool. See, when you show up, it's loads of guys like me basically, which is like white middle class guys, and it's not exciting. There's no atmosphere. It's really boring. I like doing the racing. I really like racing. I enjoy it. But there's nothing like if I was a kid, I would just be like, who are these guys? Fuck these guys. I'm going to go and get my bike and do some wheelies and have a much better time. So where are British Cycling and all of that? Like they just don't seem to see that message.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I agree 100%. Like, I mean, it's but I mean, we're trying. Like I think one of you touched on it. What we're trying to do with our communities and things. There's scope for that down the line. And I think we can, but it's just we can make a change and a positive change. But it's going to take a lot of energy from people. And at this point in time, like personally, I can't put that energy in. But I think maybe down the line, it's something that we'd look at. Kind of doing, because we've through Jermaine and myself, we have quite a lot of contacts, high up people in British cycling, and there is people involved in British cycling who know what we're doing, know about the fixie scene, and they know, like they get it.
Well, why don't they look at the fixie scene or fixed gear scene, depending on what you like to call it,
track bike scene.
Why don't they look at the cyclists who take part in that and then go, come down to the track and just try some track racing, because clearly they've got the ability to ride the bike at high speed in a controlled way. Why don't they then approach them and say, we'll give you a trial license, say for 2 weeks, come down Herne Hill, come down to maybe not Lee Valley because they're really intense about what tires you use on the track and stuff. But, invite people down to give them a taster, because the tasters often cost like £20, £30, which again, not many people have on a weekly basis.
Money, and I couldn't afford to finish off my British Cycling accreditation at Lee Valley. It was costing me hundreds of pounds, and then it's not because I'm totally shit. I had to keep using that sort of stuff.
Like, do you think there is room for them to do something like that, or is this now a thing where they may not look at that as a possibility?
I really don't know, because it's actually not something I've sort of spent a lot of time thinking about. I just know from my own experiences, like when I first got into road cycling, I turned up to a couple of Kingston Wheelers road group rides and just found, like, I was one of these people that would be waving at every cyclist. I was so excited. Like what cycling was giving me, and what a beautiful sport. And I was learning, I was like completely passionate. I was reading about reading all the history and just going out, doing my solid 10 hours a week, and loved it. But I just thought, this is great, but all the people are twats. Like all these cyclists are just
That's
not...
the second time that team name's come up
Yeah,
I think Manny mentioned them.
well, I just didn't. I just
Grudge
didn't.
match.
I just didn't find them welcoming. Yeah. So that's how I met Devere, because I'd read an article about Morris and his two, Jermaine and Robert, going out on a group ride, and there was not a group, the three of them, and there was a write up about them, and I just thought I really like the sound of these guys, and I met them, and it was a family club. And it just was the perfect fit. So that kind of, I found my own people. But generally, cycling is kind of an elitist sport. It's about, this is what's great about fixie, is that, you know, anyone can ride a fixie. Whereas a road bike, it's all about, you know, I see these guys riding around on these really expensive bikes and all decked out in Rafa and kind of mincing along in some sort of spinny gear, and it's like,
That's what
I don't know. It's sort of.
I see it from the outside looking in. I think that's what people see.
Yeah.
And it's much deeper than that. But from the outside, that's all we see.
That's kind of how it comes across. But like but cycling is such a beautiful sport.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful, and it sorts the men out from the boys. And that's what I love about racing so much, is because, you know, it kind of, there's nowhere to hide, and it's a tough sport, cycling, and that's why. Yeah, I don't know.
I think there needs to be an entry point to all. So yeah, you can get. I know what you're saying. So maybe from the outside and initially, it looks really like unachievable with people on their like, you know, $8,000 carbon bikes and full RAF and stuff.
Yeah.
But actually, if we want to get kids. And not even just kids, like, you know, like me, like 8 years ago, like into cycling, then there needs to be these entry points. That's not the entry point.
No.
And British cycling just don't seem to be. They seem to want to exclude those entry points, and I find it really telling that on their website, their mission statement, the part about governance comes before the part about inspiring.
Yeah.
And I think that really just.
Well, it's just an afterthought. It's like, it's just words. It's like, you know, really, okay. But yeah,
I never even thought of that.
But it's a very small world, the cycling world. You know, it's a very small world, and it's like in any walk of life, you get people who are comfortable and who are doing well, and they don't want things changed. Yeah. You know, it's like they're just very happy with their lot, and that's when people like us come along, the younger generation, people that have had different experiences, all of us on our bikes, and what, you know, we're trying to bring. Our personality to the sport and making it accessible, because like you said, when you first started, and like for when I first started, I was made to feel like I just didn't belong, and I shouldn't be there. Yeah. And which only stoked the fire in me, like, okay, fuck you. You know, but that's me. Other people it would have put them off. But yeah, I mean, that is what's great about fixed gear riding, is anyone can enter a race. You know, it's like a Hollywood kind of story, isn't it? Anyone can enter. And you got characters like Santucci, who cracks me up. Yeah. Hello, Jeremy, if you listen to this. Yeah. Love him to bits, but what a character. But that's what makes it unique and fun, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, I think, it's much more different dynamic, man, with fixed and the road. Yeah. And, there's a lot to it, but...
It's like the punk rock, isn't it? Yeah. It's sort of the punk rock of cycling, whereas the rest of it's all a little bit sort of,
corporate.
Corporate's a nice way of put it.
Wow.
So you mentioned UK races this year. So what UK races are you doing?
Well, there's 2 Thunder Crits, which has been announced today, which I think...
Wicked.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah.
Well 2 races. Like, I messaged Rob this morning, didn't even mention to me. Thanks, Rob.
Well done, Rob, man. Shout out, Rob.
I think he's doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
And really coming at it with the right attitude.
Might be a guest on the podcast soon.
Yeah, get him on.
I've seen it now.
Yeah, so there's 2 races. So we'll do those. Minette Crit. With the Minette Crit, I'd love it if it was a different course, personally. But I think that's kind of what Kevin's got. But just throwing it out there, Kevin, if you can find another course that's maybe a bit more technical, would be great. But yeah, definitely doing that. Don't know about the Nocturne, if that's happening.
I think it is.
Is it?
It is happening.
I wonder who's going to sponsor it.
I don't know if they're doing a fixed race, but I know that the Nocturne will be.
But that's kind of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
For UKC?
Yeah.
No European races, Netherlands, Crit.
I mean, I'd love to do some races in Netherlands because I like the sound of that. I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, we did one.
And our crit series.
Yeah, I'd really like to do that. We did the Italian Fix Cup last year, which was great. We'd like to do that again. Best way I could describe that was very Italian.
Also,
I'll be more specific. I love Italy. It's like, I'm not being against Italy, but it was very well. They had visually it was amazing, but there was certain things that was like the safety of the track. Like was
in question.
Oh
Is
my
it
goodness,
what they're
it was
working on a
really
limited
sketchy.
budget? Would you say?
I don't know. I get that was kind of my analysis was that it's sort of put all the money into making it look good, but the actual safety of the track, one of the guys in our team crashed, and I mean he could have been a lot worse. But he ended up breaking his hand or something, but that was pretty horrible. I had to help put him into that was pretty bad.
No first aid around or?
Yeah, there was, but we put him in an ambulance, and the poor guy was he's only 20, and he's on a stretcher, and it wasn't great. But there's those two, and then you've got like the 8-bar crit, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd love to do all of them, but it's like it comes down to money. I mean, definitely at this point in time, there's the 4 UK races and Fix 42. What we're definitely doing.
yeah.
And then you mentioned Monster Track as well. So money wise, that must be a
that's coming out of my own pocket.
Yeah.
So,
but that's just for the joy of.
I don't. Would I use the word for the joy?
Man, all the videos look wild.
That's what I was going to say. Like Monster Track to me has always been the one that I've always liked the look of the most. So I'd love to hear a bit more about your thoughts on
Monster Track. Yeah, I mean, it's the 20th edition this year. For me, it's what inspired me to ride a track bike, and now to race alongside the guys that inspired me is kind of a bit nuts. But yeah, it's the gnarliest alley cat in the world. You have to ride a track bike, no brakes. There's over like 60, 70 people that race.
It's mad. Yeah.
It's mad. It could be snowing. Like last year, it rained. It could snow. I mean, it's a real challenging race. And like for me, because I'm not a local, I have to follow. Yeah. But then when you get to checkpoints, like last year, I was getting left behind at checkpoints because I wasn't being aggressive or assertive enough. When you're coming in, you've got to kind of get there and be done and then go. But yeah, I think Monster Track is an amazing race and is sort of, if you're a street racer or you race alley cats, it's the race to test yourself against the best. I mean, that's what I said last year to the guys. I was lucky enough to come fourth.
Yeah.
And
that's amazing for being out of town.
Yeah, for an out of towner.
Yeah.
Are you an out of towner?
Out of towner, yeah. Well, I come second out of towner to Safa. I mean, Safa.
He's come on.
He is the best fixed gear rider I've ever seen, and he has set the bar as far as like the things he does on the bike is ridiculous, and I find it inspiring, But the thing is, we all have our own personalities, and it's all about being yourself on the bike. Do you know what I mean? You can't necessarily copy people.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that you can't do. Like
I can't like do the shit he does, but like
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Do the shit he does.
But riding in London definitely makes you, gives you a really tight control, and it's made me the rider who I am. And the courier community is very, very tight. It's like proper family, and to go out and rep for the UK scene is a great thing. And I'm going out there to do my best, and I'm a very competitive guy, but I'm also the sort of person that will, if something happens while you're racing, whatever, at the end I'll always shake hands, and it was all in the heat of the moment. I think that's the Australian in me, the way I was brought up.
How were they with obviously an outsider doing it?
Well, good. I mean, the thing, like, I've got some really good friends out there, and I feel like I've sort of been, like, I feel at home there, and I feel very welcome and really looked after. I haven't had any bad blood with anyone, and because I just try and let my legs do the talking. But the thing in New York, which I will say, is they like talk so much. There's so much trash talk.
Oh, wow.
And like I always tell my mates out there, just shut the fuck up and just ride your bike. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about him. Just ride your bike. And it's like when you're racing these races and whoever you're with at the time, when you're having, it's like in a crit or any type of racing, when you're on the limit with another group of people, it's like going to war, isn't it?
Yeah, and you get cranky.
Yeah, but you can get cranky.
High risk, man.
But you can get cranky, but it's like, it's something that you can, like, those experiences is not like anything else, you know. And I'm the sort of guy that in a race, like I could be racing with someone who I don't really like, but if it's working together, I will bury myself for people. But that's the beauty of cycling, I think.
Yeah, that's the race nature.
But I mean, Monster Track's a crazy ass race, and I feel really fortunate to be able to do it and have the opportunity to do it and to know the right people, because that's what it's about. Like, you can't just sort of rock up and just you can't. It helps. Well, you can, but it helps that I know people and there's a respect and things. But like I've worked. I've been racing sort of since 2015, and I've really worked my ass off and I've kind of made it happen through the sheer force of will.
Cool. What was it like shooting with Terry?
Yeah, really cool. We've got something coming out tomorrow, which I wish it already had been so you'd see it. But it's I mean, it's amazing. Like, he's such a nice person, like a really, really good person, and I genuinely get along with him. And his editing skills is
so good. Yeah.
I mean, it's so cinematic, isn't it? The way it all kind of works with all the different sounds, and the way that he follows as well, because he keeps the camera on his head and he keeps his head very still, and to be able to keep up, you know. And like in London, he did really well, because it's not easy.
It's not normal traffic.
It's not, and he hadn't ridden a lot as well. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for that to come out, because I think there's not been any really good footage of a fixie rider in London being followed, and I'm pretty happy with it. And
where are we going to be able to see it?
Tomorrow on his YouTube channel.
YouTube channel.
He's going to release it tomorrow. I'm kind of expecting there to be a lot of hate on Instagram, but we were really lucky with the run. You can see it on Strava. I just Strava'd it. If you go on Strava,
just take trophies.
We got one, yeah. Well, we did, maybe a few. It was pretty fast.
Yeah.
But I don't want to give too much away. But we were quite lucky with the flow. I mean, of course, I went through some red lights, but it wasn't anything really outrageous, and I didn't tap cars, or I was on my best behaviour this time. So.
Yeah, the one that you did in New York was wild.
I had too spinny a gear, to be honest. I wish I'd had a bigger gear, because it would have been really fast. But it kind of worked out in the end, because it just looks so mad, doesn't it?
It looks frantic. Yeah,
with the legs going like that, and it was kind of downhill.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. But I just feel really, really appreciative that
someone else. So do you think he's like single-handedly keeping the scene alive?
He's taken
like the role of Lucas Brunel.
Yeah. So in I've said this to Terry, I feel that he's took what Lucas did, and took it to the next level, because of his editing skills and the way that he does it with the music, because the music fits in with. Yeah.
With the scene, the Florida one that he shot was like brilliant. Yeah.
It's art, isn't it? It's like art. But I think, he's taking it, sort of helping it to grow in a worldwide sense. But what's great about Terry is that it's not just about fixies. It's
just about cycling.
It's about cycling. Yeah. You know, as long as you're cycling, and that's like our attitude as well. Yeah. But fixie riding, like for me, it's like my meditation or my therapy, you know, and it's a very sort of like for example, the ride I did with Terry last week in London, I couldn't remember it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and it's in the same in races, because you're
In the moment.
Yeah, in the
I
moment.
asked someone this question last time. I was like, do you remember a race because someone else tells you about it?
Yeah.
Or do you remember the race because you remember what happened in that moment? So, you know, like you finish a race and you're like, oh, that was wild.
Yeah.
This happened. But do you remember that because you're having that back and forth conversation? So like if a crash happens, do you remember it because that person actually cut you up, or did you cut that person's will? Like, is that what you mean when you say, you know, you get lost in the...
Well, you just, because you're in the zone, isn't it? It's like, and I think the repetitive nature of fixed gear riding is, I mean, I've heard people describe it like surfing, for me, it really is an experience where you have to let go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because you have to be. You're always thinking a few steps ahead because you're just like, okay, I'm going to have to go around there, and he's slowing down now, and I don't have any brakes, so I'm going to have to go around.
Well, you're in the moment.
Yeah, so it's just like that's all happening on autopilot. Yeah. But if your brain's doing all that on its own, then there's no time to be like.
No, you wouldn't have time, and that's why I think it's such a great thing, because it really does help. It helps in a very deep way, sort of, whether you want to call it spiritually or whatever. That's what I believe. Anyway.
So just thinking about going back to London versus New York, I always really like how geographically and the road layout it is totally different. They're like almost like polar opposites.
Yeah.
So do you think that London, like, can you describe your kind of like feel for London versus the feel of like doing like Monster Track in New York?
Well, New York is, and I don't say it disrespectfully to New York, but it's not easier to ride there, but you have more time. So, for example, like cars don't want to go near you. Like they really don't want to touch you.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
Well, it's very different over here.
Yeah.
And then like pedestrians, they don't jaywalk because you get fined, so you don't have to worry about people walking anywhere. The way the lights work, you've got more time, so you just have more time, but it's a lot of long avenues and straights, so it's very fast. There's a lot of skitching. So it's a lot sort of faster but more direct, whereas in London, it's just nuts. It's like the roads are really narrow. You've got cabbies, buses, people trying to take you out. You've got pedestrians, keep trying to kick your bike, telling you you're going through a red light, doing this, doing that, while they're on their phone crossing the road. London is absolutely mental, and if you can ride fast in London, you can ride fast anywhere.
Interesting.
That's my opinion. That's why I say London's made me the rider that I am. I mean, yesterday I was out in the snow, 9 hours non-stop, just working.
Solid.
Yeah, but it's like that's what you need to do if you want to be a contender in Monster Track.
Yeah.
Because if you can't handle it, it's like, it's like when you train, you want to train harder than you race. So it's that's how I would describe London, New York. New York, you just got a lot more time, whereas in London, you might as well have a target on your back.
Okay. Because I remember seeing you. Was it the car park crits? I think it was one of the first times I saw you where I was like, he's got mad control of his bike.
It's just come from just come from riding a lot, and
Is the car park crit going to happen again?
I'd like it to. I kind of I got a little bit. I think I was a bit...
Got in your feelings.
Yeah, and I just called out, like, what the fuck's going on with the England scene? Nothing's happening. And I did this post on Instagram. And,
I liked it.
Yeah. I don't know. I try not to take myself too seriously, but sometimes, like, I think, I don't know, I guess someone's got to step up and say something. But I would love it to happen, and I'd love to, but it takes time, it takes a lot of time, and... but I think down the line it's something that we can do, but not right now. But there was three of them, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And they were really good. It built up, and that third one was fantastic. And there was the Red Bull there. But even like that Alley Cat, when Mash were over, I mean...
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. There's a lot of people there as well. But I think any kind of industrial sort of race or car park, I think that's something I would like to get going for us.
For the UK scene.
Yeah, in the next couple of years. It's just
Finding location.
But whenever I get the
Yeah, it's
train
money
at the
and
moment,
stuff like
I see, like, especially coming through from like Sydenham into London now, and out near Bow, there's a lot of like flat industrial places just with nothing in them at all, and I'm just like, what's going on there? Surely there's some guy who wouldn't mind a brown envelope with £100 just to let you in.
Yeah.
But it's also Silvertown, Silvertown all around
I
there.
always look at that as well.
Like
and think
visually, I think visually it's stunning, and I think it's a perfect backdrop. I definitely think that there's scope to do like an industrial type crit.
yeah, at a weekend,
series.
there's nobody there.
Yeah, just they're
But I
definitely.
bet you the government will find a way to
Or
penalise.
British Cycling will
charge
put
you.
some
Yeah.
blockers up to make it more difficult.
well, definitely after they've heard this podcast.
Yeah, sorry. About scoping us out.
Yeah,
Well, where are you looking at now?
I'm wearing a disguise, so they won't know it's me.
Damn, boy. All right.
No, well, so I don't know much about couriers and what they do. Does couriers have the same kind of politics how you have it in fixed? Like, in a way?
No. The thing is with the fixed gear scene is everyone's coming from a different demographic. And that's, for me, where there's been a difference between the personalities.
Yeah.
There's some guys who are a lot younger that might still live at home. And it's just kind of all of these different people coming together and what was the question?
Sorry.
Well, I guess that's the fixed gear scene. What about the courier?
The courier side of thing, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Because obviously that's where fixed gear stems from.
well,
Like,
courier, I mean, because it's a gig economy, you don't get paid holiday pay, you don't get paid sick pay, you got to work your absolute arse off to make like £100 a day. A lot of people aren't really capable of doing that just physically. So it's a very tough job where that kind of unites people and brings people together. I don't really think there's a lot of politics. Like a family, like you'll fall out with certain people sometimes, but at the end of the day, we're all out in the battlefield doing the same sort of thing. So there's a real kind of tightness and the courier scene, like even if we're not having races, like there is some more races that are happening now, but personally, like I won't race them because of what happened with that kid, like killing the ladies. So me bowling around on a fixie brakeless, it's just too much of a risk.
It's not doing any help to...
No. But yeah, generally we're pretty tight, but kind of that leads me onto the English scene, which I can go into.
Yeah, go into
if
it.
you want, but if you ask me leading questions, and then I'll answer. These are very comfortable, by the way.
Yeah, they.
oh, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
The
What
grey
size
ones
are you?
as well.
Size 9.
Yeah.
These are like my KDs, man. They're like.
Skepta's just announced his new trainers today. He's doing the Shocks ones, the kind of like ones. With the
Really?
big-
The old school.
Yeah, I really like his white.
That
the
red and
white
blue
ones,
one
man.
was
Oh,
dead.
mate.
I don't know.
What? Blue was the best.
BWs?
Nice,
Yeah.
The
No.
Paris ones, mate. This guy, man, you don't know.
That red and blue
I like my KDs just because they got the zoom air going all the way
Yeah.
through, so it's got like.
We should do like a spin-off trainer podcast.
We'd be here for hours.
All right.
Alright, we good.
Yeah, so let's just give a little bit of a talk about the London scene and what we think about it.
Oh yeah, the UK scene, England. I mean,
the
let's
UK
just-
scene. Okay,
Yeah, let's go UKC, man.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of teams out there
Yeah,
around the whole of it.
So we're talking. So just to be specific, then we're talking about the UK fixed gear racing scene, or
Yeah.
are we just talking in general?
Yeah, let's talk about the racing scene,
Yeah.
I think.
yeah. What is your initial thought on it? What now, as of now?
Yeah, I think that it's not. I think we've kind of reached a point where it's become a bit stagnant, and yeah, it's kind of hit a wall. I mean, the only team I can think of that sort of looks to have some good guys and they're sort of shit together is that Bristol team, Clash
We
racing.
just talked about them
Just
earlier
spoken
on.
about yeah.
So I think they're doing really well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think in London it's sort of, because when it started there was like three teams.
Yeah, it was
4
North
teams?
London Thundercats first.
Yeah.
Then along came
Elf Fix here, London.
Fitz London was before.
London was before, but they weren't really a
weren't
racing
really a
team. They
race
were just
team.
like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it was North London Thundercats because they existed for a very long time. A lot of people don't give them the credit they deserve.
Yeah.
Then East London Fitz came along.
Yeah.
I'd say
Full denim jacket.
Yes.
full denim jacket. Then we popped up.
Yeah.
There was Peddlers as well.
Peddlers.
Yeah.
Peddlers Pursuit. That was my first.
That was the first team. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Peddlers Pursuit.
And then after that, we saw a few teams come and go.
Yeah.
Not sure why they came and went so quickly, but they did.
I
Those are the ones that
I think
remember.
the parallel I would draw with it is like, I think when the kid unfortunately killed the woman, I think that sort of put a stop, like for a lot of people who maybe came into it for different reasons than us, should we say, then sort of fell by the wayside. And then I think the reality of what happened, I think when the crits first came along, like Red Hook came to London, I think a lot of people saw it and thought, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know, and then the reality is they can't. So then, you know, then these people start doing other things. But I just feel it's got to a point where
No one's really holding it up anymore.
No, there's no sort of cohesion between the teams, and I think it was too sort of, it was competitive, but in the wrong kind of way. I don't know. I just think there was too many egos flying around, and now it's sort of, for it to progress and to move, I think it does need to have everyone kind of pulling in the same direction.
Yeah.
You know, and the reality is we're just riding bikes, and like, just because you can ride a bike doesn't give you license to be a.
Yeah.
I don't really want to say that.
Yeah.
word,
I know what
But
you
do you
mean.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's like, and unfortunately, quite a lot of people, you know, did all right, but it all kind of went to the head. But we're at a sort of point where it's like people need to come together, and it's like, for me, I mean, obviously I've spoke with you guys a little bit here and there, but it's nice to hang out today and to get to know you a bit, and then it's like, you know, in the future we can build on that each time we see each other at races, and you know, if you guys do an event or put something on, then you know all the other people should be looking to support you.
Right.
You know, because. I mean, it's not a fucking popularity contest.
But
We're not at
sometimes.
It does, and that's why I say it. We're not at school anymore. It's like, grow the fuck up, people. Like, just, we're riding bikes. It's fun. It's healthy. We have the opportunity where you can travel the world
With people that you know.
who you know, and
masses.
you go to America or whatever, and then you have like this whole other little community world.
Yeah.
You know, and that's amazing. These are things that you're going to remember for the rest of your lives. You know, just get over your bullshit. You know, and
Yeah, I think that's initially why we kind of started the podcast, to kind of bring people together, you know? Like, it's just, a lot of people don't know the behind the scenes. Everyone sees from the outside and be like, oh, is that what it looks like now, or whatever. But I felt like having this kind of platform is a good way of communicating with everyone. Because Instagram is it's not personal. Well, it is personal, but not to that extent.
It's not really.
No,
like,
you just show
not
the
to
best
that
version of
extent.
yourself.
I mean, that's
true,
why
it's
I
true,
came
yeah.
off it. Like, honestly, like, I remember like coming back like from holiday at the start, just at the end of that year there, and just going on Instagram for the first time in a week and just be like, this is shit. Like, and
Okay,
it just
from
makes
that-
it just
yeah,
makes
yeah.
me, and honestly,
I see what you mean.
it just made me feel really like insecure about myself, and I was just like, oh, you know, like this guy's got this, and she's doing that, and I'm just like, God, it just I put so much pressure on myself, and actually, see, the last month, been really happy. Not been on Instagram, not been on Facebook, much happier.
You reckon Instagram's ruining teams?
Yeah,
Yes.
I do, because
You think that?
I think coming back to talking about sponsors, I think I really get a feel, and from people I talk to or like used to message me on Instagram, not that many of them, who really saw it as to be in a to ride your bike in fact I've tried to fix your kit in the UK. You need to get a kit, you need to get sponsors, you need to get a carbon wheel sponsor, you need to have a frame sponsor, and unless you do all of these things,
sponsor.
you're not legit.
Yeah.
And I was definitely guilty of feeling like that as well.
At the beginning, 100%.
Yeah.
And it almost felt good for us in a way when we stopped doing as many races, and
Kind of
we
thought
weren't
about,
as we weren't as like pushing stuff out all the time, and instead we were just like having our chats on WhatsApp, and then we have the podcast, and it's a lot more chill
so
and a lot more
relaxed.
fun.
Absolutely.
And
I couldn't agree
it
more.
feels like a much different like proposition now, whereas it's not like we are a fixed gear race team with X sponsors and so on, and instead it's just that we're just people who really like riding their bikes together. Sometimes we like having like a unique identity, and the podcast's a fun way to like talk. And instead I worry that people see it from the outside on Instagram and they just feel that they need to be this person.
Yeah, there's definitely those sort of social pressures, and I mean, I feel for kids these days with those mediums. I mean, I've really tried to, because I mean, I'm quite a prolific Instagram user, but like I said, I don't take myself. Of course, I take myself seriously, but I'm a bit older. I know who I am.
Yeah, I was about to say that. You know who
I
you
know
are.
who I am.
Yeah.
I know what I'm about.
Yeah.
I've got my people, and there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people that are going to say X, Y, and Z. But I've sort of looked at I kind of look at it as a visual diary, Instagram, and also as a way, like for me and our team, what it's about is it's about getting kids into cycling. So my riding and whatever success I achieve is a vehicle to get to use that in a positive way, rather. Of course, it's nice.
Yeah, but you're using it in a way that's not for someone else.
Yeah.
Not when I say for someone else, I mean for another brand. You're using it to get people involved, whereas some people are using it as their answer to life. Like,
well, you've got an identity for the team that has a goal, and it's a very it's a clear goal. Whereas if one might look at another team, and there isn't the clear goal to get kids involved and stuff.
No,
and instead, so if you look at that team, you're like, well, what is their goal? Is it just to like have sponsors and like get some kit?
Yeah, I mean, just saying at the same time, just because we are doing what we're doing, it doesn't mean that every team
has to
do it. But I just think it's coming at it from a healthy perspective, where it should be approachable. It's not about creating being elitist because we've got X, Y, and Z sponsoring us and we get X amount of money and we've got this and we've got that. I mean that's not what it's about. But also it's a reflection on society. It's a deeper thing than just cycling. I mean, cycling, the world we're in is just a reflection of everything else. And we're especially in the UK right now, we're up shit creek without a paddle. We've got a fucking stupid, absolute fucking moron steering the ship, in Theresa May. And I'm not a political person, but I tell you what, like, I'm becoming kind of, I definitely know that this government in power now, it's all about hurting the poor and the vulnerable, and my demographic of being a courier is we're getting squeezed, man. It's brought me to tears at times. Yeah. Like how much, so not going into that anymore, but it is a reflection on where we're at with society and it's like everyone's on their own journey. I was saying before, like when we weren't recording, but everyone is on their own journey, and it's not fair to pick people out individually and put them down, because hopefully we learn from experiences, and where we're at with the fixie scene now in the UK is it's kind of it's bringing us together as it is now, you know, and that's healthy and positive, and it's like, and Rob from North London Thundercats, it's like we're all kind of trying, we know how beautiful the sport is, we know what it gives us, and we're trying to, it's like, okay, let's sort of all join in and steer the ship together. It's kind of, that's where I sort of feel where we're at, but it is definitely stagnant, and it's changed the last couple of years for sure. Okay.
I think do you feel like, obviously with all the teams that have started now, do you feel like they have no kind of, you think they're just starting a team to start a team? Or do you feel like, I mean, it's getting teams are just popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think it depends. I mean, like I mentioned Clash Racing, and from what I can see, the two boys I know, the long-haired geezer and the other one that's sort of the main guy, I'm sorry, I can't remember. Sam, yeah. Like he's got ability on a bike. You know? He can ride, and the other guy can ride. So I think, you know, they live in Bristol, so it's sort of it's like they're setting up their own thing. If they were in London, I would expect them to ride for some teams, because they're really good riders. But I mean, that's why, like, I know that's coming up. And then there's also London Pistons. So I bumped into a fella in Regent's Park a few weeks ago and having a chat with him, so I can't remember his name. I'm really bad with names, so I just remember faces. And he was a nice geezer, and also like Fixed Beers. What I really love about Fixed Beers is the actual like real joy that they have in riding
and holding it down.
Yeah, and they've held it down. And I remember people sneering at them, you know, like laughing at them and looking down their nose at them when they first started. And look at them now, you know. Yeah.
Damn, I never saw the looking down and sneering, but it's a shame that's what's occurring, because they're the ones who are still doing the weekly ride.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's brilliant, and that they've got a really healthy. They don't take themselves too serious, and for them to come and race, like it takes a lot of courage, because they're not really.
They're not like super racers.
Yeah, exactly.
They're really nice people, and I always like seeing them at races.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always nice to see them.
Exactly, and like we went to Dijon for the Moutard crit last year. If you guys are going to do that, you have to drink a lot of water. So I had to pull off in the heat.
Oh, yeah, like the man salt crushed down the back.
I did 6 laps, right? And I just started going backwards, and I was like, I came off and I started dry reaching, like, because I was dehydrated. Yeah,
that's how you're probably going to feel in Fix 42.
Yeah, probably.
It was terrible. Yeah.
But the Fixed Beers were there, and we had a fantastic time. We had such a nice time with them, and that's what
you want. That's more from the scene. That's when you turn up to the race.
Yeah.
You want that community factor.
Exactly, and it's not going to grow or develop anymore if, you know, like, I guess that's kind of.
Well, it's going in the right direction anyway.
Yeah. So I guess what's the takeaway then? What's the takeaway from the conversation? Everyone needs to get together more in the UK and London.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Collaborate.
Support one another. Look to collaborate. Look to grow the sport.
Yeah.
And put your egos aside, and just you know, we're just riding bikes. It's like
a lot of people are saying it's dead, but they're not really wanting to.
I think the people who are saying it's
dead is not really the ones that are trying to bring everything together.
Yeah.
They just want it to die. You know.
Initially, because to put it, but
no, but it's true, because the ones that say, "Oh, it's dead," I'm like, what do you mean?
Why is it dead?
Yeah, why is it dead to you? Like, it's just dead to you, man. Like,
well, these same people that say that are probably hopping around on those scooters.
Yeah, I was about to say they're getting into what's
a different kind of 2 wheels.
Yeah. But, yeah, man.
All right, cool.
Well, all right.
Cool.
It's good having you here, man.
Thank you very much for inviting me. And I mean, I think this year's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at the races. And
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you'll see us in Berlin, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Well, if we find like where near each other or whatever, just join our train, get on, and we'll.
For sure.
I'll be there. I'll be right.
100%. Like
Marlon getting Nero behind you.
Yeah, I'm going to get on the back of him. Like, come on, remember what I was saying to you? Now's your time to dig deep, bro.
Trust me.
You've got this, man.
Take me to the line.
Cool, man.
All right. Like, subscribe, put those things up, Marlon.
Everything, I'll put them all there.
Yeah.
Follow Ricola
_63.
_63. That's it, man. Peace, guys.
Thanks.
Laters.